Hello everyone, today on our podcast Maryna Niherdus, Farba, freelance colorist based at Vienna. Tell us, please, how you decided to become a colorist, what your background, what your experience. I think for a lot of people it will be interesting to listen.
Okay, it's a long story. I tried to keep it short. I moved to Vienna 10 years ago because of my marriage, and I knew that in this marriage I cannot continue working like I did before, because I was a restaurant manager and this work needs a lot of efforts and a lot of time, and really not possible to run when you have kids and a family and a house to take care of. So when I got married and my kids were born and they grew up a bit, I was looking for something I would enjoy to make for a living. So I tried myself as a DOP. I've taken a DOP course and editing course, so actually that's what I can do as well. Like, I can film, I can edit, but with one project with a ballet school, I had a situation when the lighting in the dancing room was so terrible that I had so many bad hues. I wasn't happy with the colors and the hues on this footage, so I decided I needed help, and I've taken a color grading course by Kazakhstan colorist Vitaly Buzhan. It was a color grading school named Color Grading DAO, and I would say this is where my colorist journey began.
You finish a course with the editing and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
My journey began 5 or 4 years ago when social media became very popular. Like, YouTube was exploring with a lot of different footages from different kind of businesses. And when I was looking for my personal hobby or profession, in some period of time I decided to restore antique furniture. I was always into things like that. I was always into art and antiques and vintage, actually till today. And I live in Vienna, so we have a huge amount of vintage and antique furniture here. I was buying it for less. I was renovating it, restoring it. So I wanted to make a YouTube channel about me restoring the antique furniture. And that's why I've taken my first editing course. It was about 2 months long and quite deep. I would say I had to learn something every day for about 2 hours. I had my homeworks and checking of these homeworks. It was not a simple course, you know, it was quite good. And afterwards I decided to buy a camera so I could film actually how I do it, not on my phone, but on the professional or semi-professional camera. Okay,
it's really cool. And where did you study? You remember which name of the courses with the editing it was? And also for me interesting, what was your first camera?
My first camera was Fujifilm X-T4, which I use right now actually as well. So you see how it looks. And I'm completely happy with it till now. Sometimes I use it in my work. And what about the course? I really don't remember which editing and DOP courses these were, because it was like 4 or more years ago, but it was a Russian production. It was from Russia.
Everybody knows, yeah, war in Ukraine is still going. So not so long time ago, my classmate asked me to help them to collect the money for buy a car from the enemies. I asked any people, my clients, my colleagues, my all creative world, and everybody who knows and like and share my work. So give like a small amount of your money. What doesn't matter for you, but this amount can save a lot of people's lives. So please make a small donation. Link will be in description, and your small tip can save a lot of human lives. Slava Ukraine! Maybe you can tell us and remember what was your first job for color grading job, your first commercial project, and what feelings was inside you when you received a first job? Because be honest, you know, for colorist it's not too easy, especially for beginners, you know, for beginners when you start, it's not too easy to reach the job, because for every DOP, cinematographer, producer, the movie, it's like it's you know, his son or daughter or his child, and when it give it to you, you know, he want to receive it better on the end, you know. In other case, not worth it. So maybe you tell us please about that.
Yeah, sure. I actually can remember that, because if we speak about my first commercial project, it came to me through recommendation from students of Ukrainian Film Academy. I made a short film for them. I made a grading for their short film, and they were pleased and recommended me to someone who already was in profession and needed a colorist. And we did our first project and second, and we started to work constantly together.
Yesterday I looked through your Instagram and I see you was like on set, yeah? And how are you thinking? How important to be colorist on set?
Oh, it's a good question, because it depends on the angle. I guess that from the angle of the DOP or director, it's really cool to have a colorist on a set, especially with equipment, when he can make a leaf grain and everybody understands the final looking image or something close to that. But for me as a colorist, it really doesn't make sense. Like, I spent 12 hours on a set yesterday and 2 hours to get there and get back at home, because it wasn't in Vienna. And like for 14 hours I could do more projects, simply so. So it doesn't make sense for me to stay there.
But what about importance to be like, you know, usually people look on us through Instagram and they, you know, they think it is like for them in totally we like Instagram accounts, portfolio pages, and like internet avatar, not like real person. When you're on set, yeah, you speak with the people, they see you like you're alive, you're people, you're not like a bot who's sitting on the front of the monitor. So about way of networking and communication, how you looking on that, and do you think it's important?
I get it. And here we come to the second angle. Do you remember I told you it depends from which angle we observe this situation? Like, from the angle of DOP and director, it would be great to have a colorist on the set, but from my angle as a colorist, I don't feel like it's a good idea to do that all the time, because like with this particular example, we were shooting a music video and this was the third shooting day. And can you imagine that I could spend 3 full days on a set grading this music video, which I would need 1 day to grade? It doesn't make sense. But I would recommend colorists to visit set on like time to time, because it's really cool when you can communicate with the whole crew. And we had so many discussions yesterday and so many new people to connect with. It's really very, very nice. Like, this networking is priceless. I would highly recommend, if you have a possibility to be on the set, even for a while, even like to help somehow. Yeah, always be helpful. Make backstage videos, or I don't know, help with set design, help with cleaning, with everything. Bring a coffee. But it's always cool to be the part of the team, because as a colorist, we don't always have communication with everybody from the crew. We communicate usually with 1 to like people, not more, like not more than 3 people who are responsible for the final look, and that's it. But actually, especially in Austria, everything works like that. Like, people want to know you, to trust you.
I think it's more or less, you know, it's like in the whole world, because people want to know to people, and the world is going like people pay money to people. It's like usual, like everywhere. But okay, going on. Maybe any experience like DAT, because I know, you know, a lot of colorists usually make a both job, like DAT, data transfer, handling, put all metadata on the set. It's also important part of the work. Yeah, like as usual, it's a very good way to reach new teams, find new people, meet new directors, DOP. So maybe you have some similar experience or no?
No, I didn't.
Or
I know,
not yet?
From my experience in Austria, DAT is a separate profession. Like it's the person responsible for technical things mostly, and if it comes to color grading, it's more just about matching the cameras if they are used on the set, like different cameras, and he matches them just right now on a set.
Okay.
That might happen. Like I know examples like this. But actually, I never met a colorist who works as a DAT.
It usually goes like a teams, because I have some like requests also like that, and it's not one person, but it's like a small collective, similar like us, maybe more or less bigger or lesser, so but they make it. 100% I know that because I see how it's working in real life. Okay, let's talking about color grading process and about your job. Maybe you use some magic clouds, I don't know, DCTL, any technical tricks, tips and tricks can share with us?
You know, there was a period of time when I was trying to make my job complicated, and I was diving into plugins and DCTLs and different approaches, etc. But now I am at the point when I prefer to make things simple and constant, and I don't use plugins anymore at all. Maybe just when I am searching a look, I can use it like for inspiration, but not on a daily basis for sure. And yeah, I try to keep things simple because I work also remotely, also using Blackmagic Cloud. Sometimes I work in different facilities here in Vienna, so it's not comfortable at all when you got used to some plugins or instruments that like other people don't have, and you come to the studio without it, and it's a bit confusing. So I prefer to use the standard DaVinci instruments. Like, it's enough of them, believe me. It's a huge amount of things you can do with the image, and you perfectly can do your job.
You know, now I'm really often speak with different colorists and DOPs, and especially for colorists, I have a same response from everyone. You know, they trying to keep it simple. Don't put in too much and leave it simple, because you know, sometimes you need to make a lot, yeah, because you're trying to rescue something, you know, and sometimes you need to make it like just a final touch. And that's all. Okay, very interesting. You talk about Blackmagic Cloud. Can you share a little bit experience with that? Because Blackmagic Cloud still beta, and sometimes it's still not working in all countries, and not all countries support that. Tell us please about your experience. Maybe we can try something interesting.
Me personally, I enjoy working with the Blackmagic Cloud in that sense that I get invited to the project. It was made by someone, by the client, it was edited, and I get invitation as a colorist, and my responsible there is restricted to a color grading. So I don't need to make conform anymore, and I don't need to do master anymore usually. If I work with the Blackmagic Cloud, all I need to do is a good color grading. And yes, using only standard instruments in DaVinci Resolve. Otherwise, I would need to share my instrument with the client, which is not a good idea sometimes. So I would highly recommend to give it a try.
Why you think it's not a good idea to share your workflow and your instruments? You thinking somebody can stolen like
no,
you?
No, that's not what
like
I'm talking about. No, you got me wrong. I have nothing bad to say about that. With the Blackmagic Cloud, client sees your approach and sees your notes and your note structure, etc. I'm totally fine with that. What I meant that if you use, for example, LUTs that your client doesn't have, he won't be able to make a master, and he won't be able even to see the image you've done with this LUT. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he would see it, but he would certainly not be able to make a master with it. The same if you use plugins. If he doesn't have the same plugins, the system doesn't work, you know? That's what I mean. You're
originally Ukrainian, like I am, yeah? But you live now in Vienna, yeah? Can you tell us futures of working in the Austrian market? How it's going there? It's closed or it's open? And how easy to become colorist in Vienna? Yeah, or how easy to communicate with the people and reach film industry? Well, I would say, yeah, we have to understand, like Ukraine and Austria are different cultures and different societies of people.
and what is common in Ukraine might be not common here in Austria. I would certainly say that Austrian people are extremely friendly and supportive, but only with people they know. So they are a bit conservative in a sense of letting you in their circle. And it took time. It took time to get friends here and to get clients here. I used to work with Russia and Ukraine in the beginning of my career, and I was doing it pretty well before the war began. And when the war began, I refused working with Russian clients, and in a few months afterwards I refused to work with Ukrainian clients as well, because I had a feeling like I'm doing the wrong thing. You know, I'm here in Vienna, I have so many possibilities here to prosper, and guys, colorists in Ukraine, they were getting less and less jobs with the beginning of the war, and I felt like it's wrong to get their potential jobs. So yeah, unfortunately I do not work with Ukraine anymore.
Okay, it's a good question. As working during the war, how does the war affect the industry and approach in general, and for you personal and like for total market? Maybe it's have some involved for Austrian market when the war starts, or nothing changed?
For me, everything has changed because I was used to work remotely, and I made a decision to be local. It was a decision to build strong connections here, to start making student projects again, which I did before when in the beginning of my career with Ukrainian directors and DOPs. So it was in some sense second beginning of my career here. And I feel it's going pretty well, but yeah, like mindset has changed with the beginning of the war. Like many things in our head have changed.
How long in Austria?
Since 2014.
Oh, okay, it's a long time. It's 10 years since this year, yeah? Sprechen Deutsch?
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch natürlich.
Porque mi no hablas español. Yo vivo en España porque un poco. Okay.
Yeah, when I came to Austria and we were building our family, I knew I had to learn language, obviously. I do respect Austrian society very much. So I got a German course, 1 and 2 and 3, and I went to Austrian Vienna University, continuing my study. So I was studying a master degree of marketing and entrepreneurial law, and it was a very good decision because really I improved my German and I got really necessary knowledges as a foreigner about how to run business in Austria.
You say you're now working more locally here in Vienna, right? But any experience with freelance? I'm not talking about now about Russia or Ukrainian market, maybe about Middle East, United States, Australia, UK, any different countries. Maybe you have some requests for them.
Yeah, just several of them. I did work on a few projects from USA, one from Italy, one from Egypt, and nothing more I can recognize, actually.
Okay, and how they find you?
Mostly via Instagram.
I see your portfolio. You have a really nice and impressive portfolio. Yeah, you do a lot of commercial video, music clips, and feature films, indie films, short films, everything. But what projects are best for you and most ghostly for you? Where you feeling more art, you know, not more technical work, and what is best for you working with?
I had this question a while ago and I have a formula to answer it. I feel like the project I love mostly is the one I touch right now. I am a person who looks in the future, not in the past. So in some sense, all my projects are very loved, but the best project will come in the future.
Maybe you have any favorite operators? I know it's like a very not strange question, but it's when your clients and your operators see it and say, why I'm not favorite? But maybe you have any favorite operators who you're working with? I
don't think it's right to tell like that I have a favorite camera operator or something, but I can tell what I love the most. I really love when my client knows what he wants. Like, I'm not really into a situation when he comes with the footage and says like, make something. I like to know the direction, and I love when the client knows the direction, when he did a good job before he started to make a footage. Yeah, and also I don't like situations when client comes to repair the footage. Like, I prefer to work with a good footage, and oh, sorry, that's how it is. I guess that every colorist would agree.
Maybe you have some favorite operator?
Yes.
Can you tell who is it?
No. No, it wouldn't be right?
In your opinion, how does AI affect the structure of work, and will AI replace our profession? For you, it's like a killer or it's a helper? Maybe it's help you sometimes. Maybe do you use AI as some technical plugins? I don't know. Maybe how it's for you and your opinion about that?
Oh yeah, it's a common question nowadays. Like, things are changing so fast. Sometimes, like, I feel I'm somewhere abroad. But I really don't think that it's a profession killer. I mean, color grading profession will definitely change. Like, some days ago, it was a photochemical process, right? And then it became digital, and now it will be digital using AI. So we have to get used to it. We have to give it a try. We have to understand how can we rule with these new instruments and implement them in our workflow, and like, keep things in mind. That, yeah, it's dangerous not to stay updated to the things.
You have also like experience here when you work at home and when you work in studio. How here you can compare the productivity of your work, and what better for you, work in studio or work in home?
Oh yeah, this is a topic I can speak along about, because in my personal situation, I live in Vienna woods on a mountain, quite far away from the Vienna city center, where I have a studio now. And it was looking like that. Like, my clients were asking my address, were coming to me and giving me a phone call, like, are you sure the address was right? Because, like, I'm driving here in the woods and I'm not sure that people do live here. And I was like, yeah, keep going. And then they were calling me again, like, are you sure? Because I feel like this road is just dangerous. Yeah, it's fine. Come here. They were coming to me. They were taking the stairs up, watching the view, the beautiful view I have from a terrace, and they were like, oh, it looks fantastic. I want to take a photo of this. And they were like making pictures. And then we moved to the house, and like, I have 2 children. I'm a mom of 2, so they had to skip children's shoes, and then they see my dog, and I have a Dalmatina, and everybody thinks like it's the cutest dog ever, and they start to play with it and also make photos of my dog. And I was like, let's go to the great suite, please. And still, like, before we have a coffee, a glass of water, and we go upstairs to the room where I used to have a grading suite. It's now my daughter's room. And then my cat was coming. And my cat is a Bengal cat, also not a very common cat. And everybody starts to play with him and asking about how he behaves, or what about he's living here in a house, because he also goes outside very often. So I needed to spend about 20-30 minutes talking about my life, my view, my pets and my kids before we actually could start with the grading. I didn't enjoy it. Like, I did enjoy it like first 2 times, and then it was really annoying, truly to say. Yeah. And second thing is, I am extremely responsible person, and when I had a possibility to make changes and I received a message about it, like, Marina, could you please do some corrections here and there? I was doing it immediately, no matter what time it is. No matter if I'm busy with housekeeping or something, I was going to the computer and doing these changes and doing delivery or sending stills, and I was just getting extremely tired of it. And when we've chosen, like me and my husband, we decided to not to work at home anymore. It was one of the best decisions in our life, because it helps us to increase our productivity. It helps us to stay in a good communication, because we are here in a one space. We have lunches together every day, but still we don't bother each other because we have separate rooms. And yeah, it's just so cool when you can concentrate yourself on your job. And if someone asks you on your free day to make some changes, you kindly ask, like, I'm sorry, I will be at the studio on Monday and would gladly do what you ask. So now it works like that, and it's helpful. It's a healthy mindset, you know. I feel much better.
Totally agree with you. For me also, I have some experience working in home and working in studio, and for me, like, you know, when you work in studio, office, co-working, I don't know, your personal space where you should go to the work and start to the work, you know, and because you don't have any options without work, just work. You just work, you have a better productivity. And also, like, you know, if you have a children, so if you're married, if you're married, you live in just like two of us, it's no problem working home.
You are adults, it's maybe different thing. Yeah, children is really stressful. If you want to try to work at home,
it's impossible, you know, it's impossible, because I have some such experience when my wife traveled for 2 months and I was with the children, and I have two options, like with the working time, you know, when the children in child garden, you know, and when they sleep. So I have work from morning till 4 o'clock, and after that, like after 10 p.m. So any options. In other case, it's not real, and it's impossible, I say, you know, because children's is always fun.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to share experience about your top projects and top cases. Let's talk about equipment. What do you use for your work? It's Resolve or it's Basslight, and which gradient software you use, and also interesting about equipment.
I'm DaVinci Resolve Colorist, and like DaVinci is the most common software here in Austria because it's affordable, and also because I really like the transfer of material between DaVinci setups, like with editors. And I would really like to try Basslight, but I think we don't have it in Austria at all. I know one colorist, my colleague here from Vienna, who used to work with Basslight a lot in Albania, but it was there, not here, and it's expensive to buy it. So I guess in the future, like in the closest future, I will stay with DaVinci. Actually, I do love it very much. And what about equipment? I feel like it's classic. I have Blackmagic Design mini panel. I have 2 monitors here. I have scopes and the program, and I have LG OLED panel as my reference monitor.
Nice setup, I think. How often you usually work with the client, or client don't go in the studio, you work remote?
I prefer a personal connection. I really enjoy when people are coming here to my space and we discuss the project and I make notes, and I feel like it's really the best approach to understand the concept of the project and to feel the direction that is needed for it. So yeah, I prefer at least to have first session together. It's not actually a grading session, it's more like a discussion hour, and then I prefer to work by myself and to have the last session with the final marks.
I was in Austria just a few times, you know, like a tourist, traveling a bit, and for me interesting, yeah, because it depends of the market, yeah, and depends of the country, but mostly cinema producing, where is it? It's based, Vienna based, or any cities. I'm talking about Australian cinematography. Sorry, Austria. I'm talking about Austria cinematography.
Oh, it was a classic mistake. Okay, well, let me think. I feel like, yeah, Vienna is the most strong about cinema production, but I also know a few facilities in Graz is also a big city, and Salzburg. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know the Germany is quite more modern in this sense, and I know that professionals from Austria about the Austrian society. Actually, something is happening this year, because now I'm a pending member of the Austrian Cinematographers Society, and this month on the day 29 we have a huge meeting where actually my membership will be hopefully accepted. And yeah, I'm very glad I'm joining Austrian Society of Cinematographers, and I truly love their masterclasses. They're amazing. I like their activities, I like their parties even. And you know what? Yeah, it was a bit strange for me in the beginning, but I got used to it. Like comparing to Ukrainian communities, you would never see someone on the party with a phone. Like they just don't use it. They don't film stories, they don't post it, they don't make pictures and selfies. They just talk and they communicate the whole evening with everybody, connecting people. And yeah, I feel like it's an amazing thing. It's really cool.
When you started to work like freelance colorist, or better say colorist, yeah, did you think ever you will start to work with the music videos, feature films, signs, I don't know, shorts, or you wanted it, how it was for you, you know?
Well, you know, there are different periods somehow. I had last year the period of music videos, they were just coming and coming. And I feel like next February will be short film month. Like I have already 4 or 5 of them, and it's just how it is. What comes, that comes. In this sense, I don't choose yet. I don't have such a great amount of projects, so I could just choose and concentrate on the one particular way. But yeah, if you ask if I was awaiting that I would be so successful to work on big projects, oh yes, I have huge plans for myself in the future, so I hope I'll do my best.
Also interesting question, I think it's for beginners, it will be helpful, but how long takes time for a great your, I don't know, music video, commercial and feature film?
Well, obviously it depends on the project and the quantity of the cuts and its difficulty and VFX and like several things. But usually like music videos might be a one-day job, and commercial might be a one-day job. Even a short film, if it's like under 15 minutes and there is nothing complicated, it also can be a one-day job. So it's difficult to say, it depends on the project. Sometimes a commercial needs like 3-4 days if it's complicated.
Do you have any favorite colorist?
I do.
Yeah, who is it? You can tell us.
Actually, I'm very inspired by Marina for many years. I even have found her diploma work about skin tones and I guess I wrote some questions about it to her on Instagram, and she was surprised that I even could find it. But yeah, she inspires me for years, and actually we met last year on a Camera Image festival, and she's so cute person, so helpful, and it was really cool to meet personally after we had several messages on Instagram, and to know each other better was really a pleasant meeting for me. Marina is a German colorist from Berlin, and actually this year she was nominated and won the Colorist Awards on the Camera Image Festival. With, I guess it was a series about Austrian Empress Sisi called, actually Empress, I guess, yeah, it's a Netflix series called Empress. And she was nominated in 3 different categories with different projects because she is an awesome colorist. And this year she won. But she was nominated last year as well with 2 projects, I guess. Like, yeah, she's something special.
Maybe you have some recommendation for beginners, what you can say for them?
For beginners in color grading, like who want to join the profession or what?
I'm saying better in whole industry, you know,
or the like
videographers.
I can give a recommendation for any industry you want to enter. Be very careful with the sources where you get information, because it's really Nowadays we have tons of information surrounding us everywhere, so be careful, find a good source and go ahead and start to learning step by step, because the amount of information you need to know, for example in color grading, is endless. There is always something to learn, so it's good when you find a person, a coach you like or a teacher you like, and try to stay constant with your learning.
Working during the war, how this war affects the industry and you in total?
Well, the war has a huge impact on my personal life, because the whole my life till I was 24 stays in Kiev, and this is the war of my generation. You know, my school members, my students I went to university with, and my friends, they have to participate this war, and actually my brother is there in the hotspots. So mindset is completely different, like importance of things has changed dramatically. So I'm trying to help as I can from here. First of all, I stopped working with Ukrainian clients, preferring to leave these jobs for Ukrainian colorists. Secondly, we made several charity projects in the center of Vienna with Olena Shoptenko, is a famous Ukrainian dancer. We were collecting money for women and children who were forced to leave Ukraine and become refugees. Also, I've created a music video about Holodomor in Ukraine that was in years 1932-33, and I created several charity music videos about the war in Ukraine. And actually, I would prefer not to call it the war in Ukraine, it's a Russian invasion in Ukraine.
Totally agree with you. You know, like for every Ukrainian, it's hard situation. You know, doesn't matter how you involved it. Automatically, if you're Ukrainian, you involved it, because I don't know. It's really big theme, and a lot of we can talk a lot of here, because same like with me. You know, because when the war started, I stopped all my work with the Russian market totally, and I already was working with them, and we have a lot of projects. You know, I know a lot of project, and like for all year of 22 it was like with the schedule, but I'm stopped total. And I also was like take a part in some commercial project. I do it for free. It's like a charity project, some music videos about Ukrainian children's refugees, some project for government, or so a lot of job was done. You know, it was like a charity projects. In total, it's hard for every Ukrainian, because everybody have like a pain in the heart. Doesn't matter where you're located. You're located in Ukraine, or you're located somewhere in America, or because you know it's like hard. You pain because when you're growing, you know, like a words from some poem. Everything you can choose, but you can never choose your motherhood. You know. Motherland. I mean, it's I'm thinking similar.
I'm not ready to choose my motherhood, even if I could, because actually I still have Ukrainian citizenship, even if I could change it like 4 years ago. I still feel like it's not the right things to do now in the war times.
Marina, it was really nice to talk with you and write podcast with you. I hope our viewers find for them some interesting tip and tricks and a discussion about the color. So thank you for your time, thank you for involving, thank you for joining our team like TheDBpost, and everybody who look at it, please subscribe, give some reactions, comments, and it helps YouTube algorithm to show it better for right people. So stay in touch. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.